Hey guys, it's Rob. I'm working on a really big video for everyone, but I was working on it and I just saw some a cool thing that I wanted to share so that you know that there is actually a big video coming out explaining a lot of what I've been looking at for the last 3 years. But it's kind of cool when I'm going over these features and I just kind of see them lining up constantly. This is one that's like a good example of that. On India, you can see that there's these markings, right? They're just it's obvious. They look like partial hexagons. It looks like something happened here. You could just tell. And then I'll take another part of the earth that I know is responsible for reoccurring patterns, and this one here it's related to every feature you see on this planet, whether it's from Grand Canyon to Yellowstone Park to the Hawaiian Islands. They're all related to the same thing. And because of that, I get stuff like this where it just fits. It keeps fitting no matter where I adjust it. I can move it over. You can see that this is somehow related to India. You can see the markings. I realize that both these shots are distorted by the curvature of the planet, but that's okay. They will still fit with straight-on shots, so I'm not really worried about that. I happen to be working with this when I decided to make this video, so there's really no use in trying to discredit this because of the curvature of the planet, because go get the straight-on shots and see it line up even better for your own self. And I just like to point out that these alignments they're not my opinion. They line up, and you can see that with your own eyes, so it's factual that these are aligning. It's just funny because I have trolls that completely downplay my alignments and pretend that they don't line up, but they do. And there's nothing they can ever do to change that. And the fact that these do line up should be a red flag for plate tectonics and anybody that's interested in the truth or about our planet. That the fact that I can show you that these areas from different parts of the world are lining up shows us without a doubt that plate tectonics has missed something. It can't account, and the reason I'm claiming this is it can't not account for these alignments. And that's my biggest argument that has never been challenged by anybody. I mean, one guy told me that the reoccurring patterns are proof of plate tectonics, and I'm like, well, how? And there's just no way of putting those two together. They just don't. There's no way that this is the result of plate tectonics. I promise that, or else they'd be talking about this. This would be something mentioned in science books. These reoccurring patterns all over the planet, are evidence that plate tectonics is the truth. Well, they don't do that because it's not. And but these reoccurring patterns are the real deal. They're really there. They really do line up with the features like I say they do. Or if they didn't, it'd be the easiest way anybody would defeat me in an argument. It would be so simple. They could just show me that it's just an anomaly, but nobody can. They just better off ignoring it because that's just the way people are, I guess. When they don't want to deal with the truth, they just ignore it, pretend it's not real. But this is real, and these really do align. You can see that. You can just see that. You can see that these are related. That's why it keeps fitting over and over again, because all this is the result of this area. Well, and then this area is the result of something inside of Antarctica, because it's like a pattern. It's a reoccurring theme of patterns, and I can get it up to this far, and I'm pretty sure I can guess what's going to happen in here by the amount that I have found right outside of it. There's a pattern it follows. That pattern is going to be the same all the way to the inside of Antarctica. It's just a logical way of seeing it. See, it's kind of cool. It works like this. You can see that there's this cutout here in India where it's notched right here. These features are always around the same size as this. because they're all related to it. It's what gives it away. Florida, same with, it's going to be the similar features. Okay, so you see that I put that there, and when I just put that there, you can see it just kind of lines up a little bit in these areas because this is all related. Now, I want to try something. I'm going to back out here. So we're way up there. Then you see these features that are coming out of this part here. And when I bring this, okay, this looks related all through here. So you can see that there's a size similarity here going on between this and the thing behind it. That's good enough to warrant an investigation for me when I'm working with this stuff, because then I noticed that these marks right here seem to be interacting with the marks on India as I'm bringing this up. See how it keeps lining up? It's not, I mean, some people could say, well, it's just lining up because there's a lot of marks there. Well, it's just not that easy, really. You can get patterns of different marks, and you could tell the difference when you run them through there, that there's no relationship whatsoever. So it's not like I'm forcing myself to find stuff. There's a reason why these are the same size. And when I put this in here, it's kind of hard to deny that there's a relationship here. I mean, I still do have trolls that, even though I'm showing you this right now, and you can see how this aligns, are after the fact going to claim that they don't align, but they're never going to show me how or prove it. They're just going to say it doesn't and whatever. And I mean, these guys are morons. It just pisses me off that there are people that stupid. And it really does piss me off too. It's not that what they're saying, I'm not worried about them proving me wrong. I'm just, the ignorance it makes me angry that people are that ignorant. When I show stuff like this and then they try to pretend it's pointless. There's a size similarity here. That's pretty important. Look at this, the white. See these right here, and then you got the island right here. They're related. You can see that. This is related. None of this would line up. Look at the line below it right here. This is what I'm claiming is a vortex, and well, there's this what looks like the Hawaiian island chains, the same similar features. This is the result of twisting. You can see that they're spaced similar distance apart from each other because they're spinning, and the filaments that are spinning are sized a certain amount. They have a certain radius about them that's going to make things space out evenly, according to the size of it, of both the filaments, and they're turning. Look, this is even better than see. This is what blows me away, because this constantly happens. Is I see something, and then it just, not only does it line up, but it lines up better than I would have thought ever. See, look at right here. You can tell that these are related. Maybe, let me dim this out a little. Here, a little bit dimmer so you can see through it better. Make sure I'm not trying to pull a fast one on you. Because what blows me away is that I have these, I unblocked them, so it's my fault. But I don't, but I like to show people what kind of people there are on this planet, and they'll come out and tell me, hey, you wasted your time for 3 years. Why would you say that to me? And it's not true. Look what I'm discovering. This is stuff that geologists don't know about. They don't know about it because they don't think it's possible. But that's because they limit their abilities to see reality with their beliefs. That's what's going on. That's what's wrong with basically, I guess, the humankind, is that we get these false understandings of things around us, and we're dedicated to it, even though they're inaccurate. Do you know how long it's going to take before somebody in a position that can actually do something about this actually sees these alignments and realizes what that means? We got people that make a decent amount of money that are supposed to be figuring this out, but they don't want to know this because this isn't what they believe. So it's a waste of money and time, because this I have a lot of evidence of these alignments, and they mean that there's something connected here. But the people that are supposed to do something about it aren't going to do anything about it till like after they're dead, and the next group comes in that isn't dedicated to the same bias. You know, it's like, God damn, when are people going to get over this? I mean, it's really slowing us down from moving forward. Is how it's like people are so faithful to their own beliefs that they cannot and will not see the truth. And that's just, when you think about it, it's just actually kind of lame. They give way too much power to their beliefs and what they think is the truth, and they'll sink with that ship to the bottom of the ocean. It's just ridiculous. Here we go. What I'm claiming is the part of the twisting and pulling away of I'm guessing a vortex. Look at when I back out. Okay. Look at that, right? Okay, I had it before where it just magically lined up perfect with it. Somewhere like that, I guess. I guess you get the idea. The key, like a forensic scientist can match somebody up to a crime scene with their fingerprint. This elbow looking thing right here, this where it comes out like a partial triangle or whatever, this is a fingerprint. And this fingerprint can match up with many features around the planet like that, which exposes its creation. These are processes of the creation of our planet, because these features weren't on the surface of the planet when they were being created. They were at the core of the planet, and that's what I'm saying. There's reasons why I claim this. You can call it my beliefs or what, but these are based upon these images, because in my mind, it's logically, in order for all the surface features of our planet to be related to one another, they have to come from the same place. And it's a small place. And I can tell that the only thing that makes sense to me is that they're coming from the core of our planet. Because you can't have the reoccurring patterns from impacts of meteors and stuff like that, because those don't reoccur. They don't just keep ramming themselves in the planet, making the same image over and over again. There has to be a source for these reoccurring patterns. This is why I'm blown away that I have not gotten one geologist interested in this. That doesn't even make sense to me. We got reoccurring patterns all over the planet, which mean that they all have to come from the same source. I mean, that should be a huge deal, but it's not. I have to beg and pander to get approval of it's just ridiculous, and what I have to go through to try to get people to believe this when it's obviously truthful. I mean, look, you can see there's reoccurring patterns with that alignment right there. So let's see here. I'm trying to see if I can leave this on something pretty cool, which I already think I found cool stuff, but I like to go overboard, Isn't that trippy? Like, what blows me away is that when I look at this, okay, when you look at this right here, it doesn't look anything like India, okay? So I could see why I would never, ever just think that they might be related until I would do an overlay and then bring it in. Even though this is a big round thing, it looks nothing like the tip of India. But when you bring it in, all of a sudden it starts looking like the tip of India, because it starts matching features on India and around India, is why it's not shaped like a point and it's rounded. You see what I mean? See how that fits onto there? This and that. That's why I know that this is related to the tip of India. And then when that lines up, you can see that lines up right there. See? So let me back away. You see how that works? So it looks nothing like India here. All of a sudden it looks just like it right there. And then you got this feature right here. Bring it over. And I'm pretty sure yeah, right here, because you got this point right here. You'll start to see things line up. Hopefully. Like that. You got an island right here that looks like it might be what blew this area out right here anyways. Like that. And then I'll move it around to see what else. So it's like whatever made India made these features, and they're going out in every direction. So you can bring it in this way, match it, slide it over here, it matches. It's because well, one, I know it's rotating, so it's twisting and it's making copies over and over again in all directions as it's spreading out. I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense to me why this would match. Like, you know, I can move it this way, match it, and then move it left and right and match it. It has to be something like that, that whatever's making these reoccurring patterns is spitting them out in all directions. And then you got this overspill. This overspill should be the most obvious thing that proves that plate tectonics is incorrect, because it's the one thing I can match up hundreds of times with different features around the planet, because this obviously is the beginning of what created I'm thinking coded. I'm thinking the core of the planet is spitting this material out, and then it fills up, overflows, and then coats the process that's moving this stuff. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing copies of the process that created our planet. It's that simple. A lot of people try to think that they discredit me because they think that I'm saying that plasma is turning into this. I'm saying that this is coding that plasma process, and now that the planet's increased, they're all up at the surface of the planet. There's newer stuff at the core, I'm sure, pushing this stuff out constantly as it grows, if it increases in size in these dramatic cataclysms. This is that ridge that's from down here, actually. See, all I've done is rotated it up. See where Antarctica is? It was down here, so I counterclockwise rotated it, and things line up again. You can actually see similarities between Antarctica and features over here. And you definitely can see, here's the thing. In geophysics, they know that they don't know why. Well, they think they do, but they're wrong. But they do realize that the rock and the makeup of the southern tip of Africa shows that at one point it's related to this area. Well, look at when I line this up, you can see how close it is. What it is the only thing that makes sense to me why this would line up with here is if this was the outer surface of a smaller planet, and this actually wrapped around. You see what I'm saying? And it's confusing when you got a bigger planet and you got features on the same continent that line up, showing that the two areas were connected at one time. And it doesn't make sense until you think about it. If you're looking at a small planet, if this is the surface of a smaller planet, this would have to be wrapped around to this side. And then all of a sudden it starts to make sense why I can place this part with the southern part of the same continent. Same thing with South America, by the way, because I think they're all part of what was a smaller planet. It's the only thing that makes sense to me, because I try to use logic when I analyze this stuff. But how can you use logic and analyze this if plate tectonics is a barrier from understanding that this is possible? Because anything's possible, actually. Look, the tip. Again. Here's our overspill. All going to be related to one another. See the tip of what I lined up with India right here, which doesn't look like India until you put it over it, is also related to the overspill. You see how that works? So if you find this interesting, you haven't seen nothing yet. Wait till you see the video that I'm in the process of making at this moment. Thanks for watching.